Welcome, everyone, to our, I'm going to use a very cliched term that's been probably used a million times, our Halloween Spooktacular special, and also our 50th episode.
Yay!
I can't believe we've done 50 of these.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I feel like a celebrity.
Lined up too.
Yeah, it's lined right up with Halloween, and that's really what we're going to be talking about.
Absolutely, and we're actually going to get it out on Halloween, and I think this is like twice in 1 month that we've got an episode out, so that's good as well. But lots of stuff going on.
Just because we're so excited for Halloween.
Yes.
I know. We were actually just talking. Ron bought a ton of candy for trick-or-treaters, and I was like, save me 2 of those when they take 5s. I was like, I need 2 of those. I never see those in the store. I would never think to buy them for myself, so you have to save me 2 of those.
Well, I found those, but I got 2 of the bags of those because I had problems with Reese's products were like in short supply. I mean, obviously I went on the 2 days before Halloween, but
because they're the best.
Yeah, so I found those and I love those, but then I did end up finding some peanut butter cups, but I had to dig for them, and then I just got a surrounding. The only thing I didn't get that I like, because I'm like I got a big variety of stuff that I like, and I like some things better than others, but I couldn't find Three Musketeers either. They were gone.
Oh. How about you, Cam? What do you like for Halloween candy?
Oh, well, Reese's is obviously the top of the top.
Yeah.
In any sort of variant. They have a lot of crazy new variants and Reese's pretzels and Reese's chips.
Popcorn,
and Reese's,
yep.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
I feel like a couple of
some of it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like a couple of their new candies they come out with, just because they tried to make so many different iterations of it, they've been some of them have been
Kind of
it's
weird.
not that good. It's like I'd rather have but like the Nutrageous and Take 5.
Take 5.
Those are good.
That's what I want.
Yeah, those are great. I love those.
We did the big bars again this year, so we have a range of all the chocolate bars and some Skittles and Starburst and stuff like that too. So we'll see. And I have my adult children giving out the candy this year, so we'll see.
Nice. Off the hook.
Probably going to be one for them, one, for the kids.
I know, I usually get my dad to do it, but he's like, nope, I'm not doing it this year.
Oh, that sucks.
I'll have to man the door.
But then, hopefully we'll get to go out for a little while, because it is a Friday night.
It is.
I know, yeah, I think it's lined up pretty well the last couple of years. It's been on Friday or Saturday.
I think it's supposed to be a little crappy tonight and tomorrow morning, but it's going to be good by the time.
By the time the little trick-or-treaters come.
Yes.
Well, we had some treats. We watched some scary movies that actually were fantastic. We have a lot to cover.
I know. Yeah. So I think we are here for our 50th episode Spooktacular special, and in particular to cover 2 sort of horror movies that just premiered right before Halloween. One is The Black Phone 2, which we'll spend a little time on, give some reactions, and then go a little deeper. And then the other is Shelby Oaks, which, if some of you haven't heard of that one, it wasn't marketed as much as The Black Phone because it's a small, semi-independent film that started out with a Kickstarter production by, oh my God, his name is escaping me.
Chris Stuckman.
Chris Stuckman, yes. The YouTuber who is a YouTuber.
You like him better than
I know. I'm like,
more than
it's
I
like
do.
one of these things with names. Happens to me during trivia all the time too. Whenever I need to grab
Pull
a name,
something.
it disappears on me. But
Oh, I know. I hate that.
Chris Stuckman, who got Mike Flanagan involved in this, but kind of an independent, his first film. But we've always enjoyed his movie reviews, so got to see that one as well. And maybe we'll wrap up with a couple of other things that we got to see over the spooky season this year. It feels like we never have enough time.
We covered a lot this year, though.
Yeah.
I know.
We started, July?
I know, right? Well, that's the thing. We started to July, but
And just
I still
because-
feel like there's 4 or 5 other. No, I know we don't have to stop.
I was going to say, just because Halloween's tomorrow doesn't mean we have to stop watching spooky movies.
True. Definitely the weekend.
I'm
Halloween
excited to
weekend
watch
counts.
Thanksgiving this year.
Thanksgiving, the horror movie Thanksgiving? I loved it.
Yeah, that was so good. I watch that every year. And you guys haven't seen Krampus. You guys should watch that.
No, I haven't seen that.
I've seen parts of it, and it looked pretty good. I forget where we were, and it was just on a TV or something with commercials. We were kind of watching it for a little while, but yeah, I'd like to see that start to finish too.
That's the same director as Trick or Treat too.
Oh, is it?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I love that.
And that's one we actually had on our list to rewatch this year, and we never really got around to it.
Didn't get to it. Well, who knows?
Yeah, I might even watch that either tonight if I have time or tomorrow.
That was in the theater.
I keep thinking there's a week. I know I'm bummed it didn't play anywhere around here. I would have gone. I've been seeing a lot of
it was
old horror movies
yeah, it
in
was.
the theater.
It was playing at our Regal, and there was a couple of other things. There was a Dracula. I don't know which one it was, but it was playing at Regal one time. We went first to see something, but All right, without further ado, The Black Phone 2 by director...
Scott Derrickson.
Oh, yeah, Scott Derrickson of Doctor Strange fame and Sinister and Black Phone 1, of course, which we very much enjoyed. So, Jen, I'll go to you first. Initial reaction to Black Phone 2.
2 thumbs up. My only real criticism of it was that it was just a very long movie. We were in the theater for a very long time, I felt like. But the story was great. The plot was excellent. It tied together. Well, we can discuss that at the end. I don't want to give anything away. But no, I thought it was just the right amount of scare and gore and creepiness, but in a good storytelling format as well, with a good like mystery to solve, kind of wrapped up all in one. So 2 thumbs up for me. I thought it was great.
Mine is similar. I was blown away, might be too strong a word, but I was like, wow, it was so good. And so, like, I enjoyed the first one. This one, and it's rare to say, and I think, well, Cam, we'll hear from you. I think we might all agree. This is a rare case of a sequel exceeding the first movie. I mean, this was everything that you got in Black Phone, the first Black Phone, and so much more. And it had, like, it was long, but it definitely broke my typical hour and a half rule for horror movies by quite a bit. But like, and even though I noticed it was long as it was going through, I was like,
still entertained.
I was still on board. It didn't, but it had all kinds of like just great scares, gory but not too gory. Some great like visual effects and just like cinematographic graphic effects or something. What you want to whatever.
Something
Cam,
like that.
You'll fix me on that. But
cinematography.
Yes, and but just there was like a family element to it. There was like an action movie element to it. Almost felt a little Spielberg-ish at times. Like I was just like really surprised at how much they put into this. And with one of the things I noticed just pulling it up today was with a very small cast too. Anyway, yeah, that's my reaction to it. That to me, that's the best horror movie I've seen this year. And some may say there's other ones that are a little more obviously extreme or unsettling or artistically, but whatever. But like, to me, that was the most satisfying horror movie I've seen so far this year. So I'll stop there. Cam, what do you think?
Yeah, I have to echo all those sentiments a lot. I thought coming right out of the theater that I blew the first one out of the water, and I think it's a huge improvement over the first one personally. And I really liked the first one, probably I think more than you guys even did. But just it took it in a great new direction, but it was still used those familiar elements, and it was still good. Like a lot of these horror sequels feel like, oh, it's just the same thing happening to the same people again. And that's not always, like, I enjoy plenty of movies like that, but it is cool that they managed to not only do a whole new kind of perspective and story, but also kind of weave the original characters in naturally and have them have a cool kind of connection to the story that's not just them experiencing it again. So I guess that's where I'll stop, just because I don't want to go too much into spoilers. But
Exactly, yeah. It wasn't just another just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Oh, there's a new shark,
Yeah, definitely a different shark.
Right, yeah. So that does it for our initial reaction. So from here on out, just fair warning, we will be getting into spoilers as we just dive in a little bit deeper. But what did you think were some of the elements, Jen, that were just more so than the first movie? Well, but it did have like the whole, the relationship between Finney and Gwen, is it?
The sister, yep.
It was,
I think that's it.
Was really good, and the way she gives him so much shit and all that stuff.
Oh, her little zingers, her little one-liners.
Yeah, and the family elements, and then but.
I agree. I liked their dynamic and stuff. I thought that they upped the horror factor. I think that having, the grabber not in the flesh was even more terrifying. It brought like that whole kind of like Freddy Krueger thing, like, don't fall asleep. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Kind of feel into it, it was cool and different. But I liked how the things weren't just happening to her, Gwen. They were happening to the other people that were at the camp with them. So they all got hurt, scared, and were like involved in it. And I thought that was cool that they had a larger group to help. In the first one, it was really just Finn with the dead kids basically calling him and helping him to try to escape. And this, there was more like live people helping as well as dead people helping. So I thought it was kind of a good mix there. But yeah, horror, excellent gore, excellent scare factor, excellent. Those jump scares, I mean, I literally left my seat in the theater.
Yeah.
He scared the living...
Yeah, there was a lot of great jump scares in this one. I definitely agree. I think strongest comparison would definitely be kind of taking it in a Nightmare on Elm Street direct. I like that the grabber wasn't really even in it for a decent chunk of the movie, if not maybe even over half of the movie. He only shows up towards the end, but his kind of presence is definitely felt, obviously, through the kind of memories and repercussions of the first movie. But I thought it was kind of an interesting exploration of the growth between the relationships of not only Finney and his sister, but the father as well.
Yeah.
I thought they kind of took his character in a really interesting and layered direction, and it was much more kind of nuanced, I guess, than where he was kind of the stereotypical Stephen King like abusive father character. Here he was, he still had his barbs and everything, but he was much more of a
father.
I don't want to say positive,
Yeah.
but or even, I don't even know if I would go that far, but he seemed like at least he was trying. So
He sort of transcended that
little,
that sort of just
right,
drunk
exactly.
dad guy.
And also, too, having some insight into their lives prior to when the mother was alive and, what happened to her and how that broke him kind of gives you a little more understanding into the reasons why he was so nasty in the first one.
Right. We find out what led him down that path.
Right. And I think that was and I was trying to think back, like, if the first movie had any hints that of where this movie, the second one was going. I don't think so.
No.
That kind of just goes back to my main point of, like, they kind of were able to extend the story of the first one in a way that didn't feel like super contrived or unrealistic.
Exactly.
Like, it felt like it fit very nicely with the first one.
So basically, like, they, based on the success of the first one, they decided to make a second one.
Yeah, and when they announced this one, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be classic sequelitis, and like, and they did a phenomenal job taking the threads and what was going on in these kids' lives and turning it into a new story. And then at first, when Gwen starts having her dreams and things are happening, like you said, Kim, we weren't sure it was even the grabber. It was this, and I liked the whole like time connection back to the 1950s and her mom working at the camp, and what's the camp have to do with anything? And then there are these murders on the camp, and then just the way they tied it all together. Just a really great job doing, bringing all that stuff together. And I thought too, a great job, making the story work, like all the pieces of the mystery that were like, okay, who's this killer in the 1950s at this camp? And then there's the grabber, and then there's the dreams that Gwen's having, and the calls that Finney is getting, and how, and and then their mom, and why is her mom, coming into the picture now after she's been dead, and we really didn't hear much about more than that she, quote unquote, committed suicide in the first film and what happened to that. But they really did a great job, like, bringing that all together. And then
and the phone part too.
Yeah.
That I was like really impressed. I was like, how are they going to weave that into the second story? Because it's called Black Phone 2. It's got to be about a black phone somehow, right?
Yeah.
And how Gwen initially, that first phone call that's made at the very beginning.
And she starts getting the ones in her dreams.
Yeah, and then you only get this one side of the phone conversation, and it's not even filled in till significantly later in the movie. Then you got the second part, who was on the other end and what they were saying back, and then it all just kind of starts to fall into place.
Yeah.
So I thought they did that really well. And I agree, Cam, too. Not bringing the grabber into it right away led you down like kind of a different path, trying to figure out how is this going to be related to the first one. So I thought they did just a very nice, slow unraveling of all the story as it went along. I thought it was really good.
So many good things. Like the scares were good. Like the sequences when Gwen would have her visions when she was asleep, and it changed to that sort of like kind of dreamy, but also really super retro-y camera lens view and all that stuff.
It was like
16 millimeter film. Yeah.
Is that what it is, Cam? Yeah. It was really cool. I thought they did a great job.
Like they shot it on a digital camera and then they would switch to the 16 millimeter, and that's like consumer grade film equipment, so it wasn't super high quality even back when it was being used.
Right.
And they purposefully didn't used very dark lighting, and so it just comes out very grainy and kind of grimy and weird and creepy looking.
And I love the way they weaved when she was in one of those dream sequences, and then you could see the people who, when she was like sleepwalking or whatever, that were witnessing her
going through this,
and then when it got into the real stuff, when the grabber kind of came back from the dead, so to speak, and she was just getting the crap kicked out of her, and like when she was spinning around the room and all, like those sequences were like frightening and like really visceral, and really those were some excellent scenes. I love the whole icy lake scene and how they worked into that with the little tractor and the little sled, and then him being the grabber being a good ice skater, and how they worked that whole thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was just really well done. Really, and there's a lot of like pulling on the heartstrings stuff in this, and then just the reveal about their mom and communicating it, and Finney not dealing very well at all with what happened to him, and smoking a lot of pot and everything, and how he kind of faces up to that, and the mom, and then the dad, and then of course the dad finding out the reveal about the mom, which I won't even though we're talking about spoilers, I won't get into that. It was just this was so much more than just a horror movie, I felt like, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. And I really enjoyed that most of the gore was in that 16 millimeter dreamy sequence, so it wasn't too like in your face.
Although I have to admit, when the religious couple that owned the camp that were when they got hurt, I was like, yes. When that chick smashed her face on the ice and her nose started pouring blood, I was like, that's what you deserve. She was nasty.
Yeah.
The filming of that 16 millimeter that you're talking about, it wasn't overdone.
Right.
It was just enough. Like, it was done in the right spots. Not every dream sequence had it completely.
Yeah.
But I liked how they flashed back and forth with it. I thought that was really well done too.
Well, it's funny because they've been doing that him and the screenwriter have been working together since Sinister, and they do that same thing in Sinister when Ethan Hawke finds the film reels in his attic, and ever since then they've done a kind of like mix of the going back and forth from the film to the regular. Obviously in Sinister it's related more to the kind of found footage plot aspect.
Casting and performances, I thought they were all good. In particular, Mason Thames, I don't know which way you say it. Obviously he's getting big now. He's in that movie with McKenna Grace, that romance movie. He was in How to Train Your Dragon. He was the kid in that Monster Summer, maybe remember that, like direct to video with Mel Gibson.
Oh, he was in that too.
Movie we watched.
I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that one.
He was the kid in that. He was great. And then Madeline McGraw, who plays Gwen, she was like, as we were when we came out of the theater, we're like,
I
remembered her, but I feel like I've seen her somewhere before. But actually, I've looked at the stuff that she's in, and she hasn't had a major part in much of anything, much less anything I've watched outside of the first one. And I also looked, she's 16. She's only 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I know she's playing a 16-year-old in the movie, but she seemed a lot more mature than that. But I was like, wow.
Well, because she was like a little girl in the first one.
Right,
so.
Right.
I kind of assumed, and I always appreciate when they actually cast teenage actors for teenage parts, so I kind of assumed that they would be bringing back those same actors.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was great. And Ethan Hawke,
he's always
was just even... Yeah. I know I said it. We saw him in, was it Moon Knight?
Yeah.
And I said how creepy he was in that. Then he was so creepy in Black Phone. The creep factor is just like, he keeps setting the bar, man. Yeah. He was so creepy in this. Like, the sound of his voice when he talks to Finney over the phone again, and you can see that instant fear, that instant reaction to his voice. Like, it was just, I don't know. And then just all the grotesque, like, different versions of that mask that he was wearing that happens, like, throughout the, different parts of the movie. I thought that was cool. Yeah, like it made it, and it was just grotesque, especially the one where all of his teeth were kind of bared. I'm like, that was terrifying. Excellent, thumbs up all around.
Yeah, and it's funny with his career arc, you'd never peg him as being such a good villain, but
right. Is there really that many camps that would take place in like snowy conditions?
Yeah.
Like, although that was a little hard to believe that they had like this, winter camp.
We did have winter camp at the camp I worked at, and I both went to it and was a counselor at it, so it does happen.
It does happen.
But that's like New Hampshire, not like the Rocky Mountains in a blizzard. But anyway, I thought the same thing. Cam, what do you think? What are some of the other sort of like more technical production elements that stood out to you?
Well, I think the big thing is definitely the 16 millimeter footage and the transitioning between those, that and the regular film. I thought that was really cool. And just overall, I wouldn't say there was anything that really stood out as like from a filmmaking perspective other than that, but I think that's like significant enough. And it's noticeable too. It's kind of something that everybody can kind of pick up on. It's not kind of more of an obscure film kind of language kind of thing. I would say my only drawback would be I did think I agree that it did feel a little bit long to the point where I kind of thought it was wrapping up and they were gonna like leave it on a cliffhanger or kind of like half end it for a sequel, and then it just like kind of started up again and kept going, and I was like, oh okay, there's still like 15 minutes left. So I did kind of feel the length there, but I mean, obviously the payoff and everything was so great that can be forgiven.
Definitely, I agree with that. Too, I also felt like the ending was a little too clean. Like they wrapped up every single detail. I was kind of looking for, like you said, a cliffhanger or something to maybe give you the idea there could be a Black Phone 3. Maybe they're going to help some other kids or something. They're going to, kind of get a reputation for...
If they can spin the... Well, I mean, it's almost like they're giving themselves a challenge maybe in some ways, because they did wrap it up
do something
completely.
Different.
Like, so if they're going to like wring another movie out of this, they're going to have to really they're going to have to do a lot to top themselves in how they made the story work as a sequel for this one. Any final thoughts on the Black Phone?
Just that I loved it.
I think we covered it. Yeah, no, I think we all
6 enthusiastic thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yeah.
For this, definitely go see that one if you haven't. All right, moving on. Next is Shelby Oaks, the first movie for Chris Stuckman, the longtime well-known YouTuber whose movie reviews I've enjoyed for many years, and he put out his first film with Mike Flanagan, some involvement. He had a Kickstarter campaign. I think I even donated to his campaign.
Well, thank you for your donation.
You're welcome. Yeah. So maybe some special effects were paid for by Ron Cashman. Yeah. But so yeah, Jen or no, Cam, why don't you start? What was your initial reaction?
I'm actually I don't dislike Chris Stuckman. I've never been like a avid watcher of his. I watch videos of his here and there, but I was definitely interested, especially because I didn't even follow the production very very much, but everything I was kind of seeing and hearing kind of on the periphery I thought sounded really interesting, and kind of the trailers I thought looked really cool, and overall I think some people are probably going to have a lot of little nitpicks and issues with it. It probably won't work for everybody, but at least from my perspective and what I go for, or kind of like in a horror movie, I just thought it just kept nailing every single little aspect. And I think that might be kind of a criticism too. There's a lot of kind of elements from other films, but overall, I love there's a found footage and like kind of mockumentary element. There's abandoned towns and paranormal investigators going missing,
right,
and urban legends and cults and everything. And obviously I don't want to get too much into spoilers or anything, but overall I really loved it just in terms of a fun, spooky. There were some really great scares. The story was kind of interesting and weird, and I love those movies where someone goes investigating and has to dig into the library archives and find the spooky books and everything else.
Definitely.
So it hit a lot of those like
if you see them like in front of a microfilm machine, you're like, yes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that kind of, and stick figures in the woods and everything else. So yeah, a lot of Blair Witch, a lot of Lake Mungo and Marble Hornets, which are slightly more obscure found footage pieces. But yeah, I really loved it. But I do think there's probably a lot of room for improvement as well, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, same, echoing pretty much everything that Kim said. I really, really liked it. I thought same thing. It was good. It was scary enough and spooky enough and enough spaces. It kept you entertained. I didn't feel like it was overly long, which is always a criticism of mine. If I feel like I'm sitting in the theater too long, then I don't feel like the movie did its job. But other than that, no, I thought it was great. And the performances from the cast, they weren't well known to me. I didn't recognize anybody. So, I mean, for a bunch of, honestly, probably nobody's, I thought their acting was fantastic. And I agree. I loved like the found footage. I was a little nervous at the beginning that the entire movie was going to be like that. And I was really great when it was just parts of it. But they kept reintroducing those found footage pieces throughout. And I thought that was a great element too.
Yeah, I would say I had a more mixed reaction to it. I enjoyed it. There's parts of it and elements of it that I really enjoyed, and some parts of it that I just think, probably just from, rookie, first time movie making thing. There were parts of it that just felt a little TV movie-ish for me. Parts of the story and the mystery that didn't hold up, or like okay, I saw where we were going and I understand where we ended up, and logically the pieces fit together, but it just felt like the story seemed a little bit kind of like missing some details and some greater sort of like motivation. I don't know. Overall, I enjoyed it. It just didn't totally click for me. Some parts of it I really liked, like that instance, like for the first. And this isn't really a spoiler, but well, maybe it is.
Okay,
so
spoilers.
I'll hold off on.
We'll
on
just
that.
move into spoilers. I think.
But okay, I guess we'll go.
Past
But we've given our initial reactions. But like, what was Jen? You just said it. Like the whole first 10 minutes of the movie, you have no credits, and it's just this found footage documentary about this, girl who was part of a ghost hunting team, and then it's like a full 10 minutes into it before you switch into the credits, and then it's like, oh, this is going to be a movie, not just like a found footage movie. And then there's a big shocking event that happens right with that, and that sort of signals the transition into more of a straightforward movie style, and then they go back and forth. So I did think that all was really, really good, and it was great having all of the different elements that you've all spoken about, like you've got your found footage, you've got your Rosemary's Baby, you've got your mysterious occult, ancient demon stuff,
Your Blair Witch.
your Blair Witchy stuff. It was all. It just felt to me at times, and with some of the effects and some of the scenes and reveals, again, it just felt a little bit like, just for probably not a great way to say it, but it just felt a little more TV movie-ish or direct-to-video-ish to me. Heck, it's the guy's first time making a movie, so and on a shoestring budget, with a little bit of help. So I'm sure there's a lot of things that he'll improve as he goes along. But so I would, just to be honest, I would say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a lot of things about it, but just overall kind of mixed.
Oh, see, I think I enjoyed it a little bit more. I liked the scenes while she was at the jail and stuff like that. Like, that was pretty scary. I did feel, however, and I don't know how you feel about it, Cam, but the whole, like, dog thing was so overdone. I feel like there was just...
The devil dogs?
Yeah, like, too much about the devil dogs. Like, it was just, I don't know. I feel like they didn't have enough of a reference, I feel like, in the movie. Like, there was no point to having them so much in the movie. Like, one or two scenes I was, like, kind of okay with how they fit in, but then it was just like there was a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of dog, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, and then the demon and his the Altarion and this and the whole, and so the guy that shoots himself at the beginning of the movie turns out to be involved with the missing girl, and it's like, well, but he was also. It seemed like he was a career-hardened criminal and abusive, horrible guy, but yet it almost seemed like he was like apologizing for what happened and like escaped. And so I was like, well, was he a bad guy, or was he under the thrall of his witchy mom, or what was?
I think
like there was just some things that were like, and had they targeted, and the fact that she was so hypersensitive to these things that they were investigating back when she was lost, it's like. did the witch target her specifically? Because it just seems so. The way her disappearing seemed like that was really cool setup, but then why she was just sort of targeted and why her to be held prisoner, in this by this witch for 8 years and all
12
this
years?
Rosemary's Baby stuff. I was like, huh, why? But anyway, that was another thought I had. So I guess it was just too many things that were. So I enjoyed a lot of what was done. I agree. The performances for folks that obviously none of us are familiar with. There is one guy who was in there, who is a famous character. Keith David. Yeah, he's a famous character actor. I recognized him.
Oh yeah, he was the warden.
Yeah, but that was it. But I think that's what you often do in a first time movie is you can splurge on one to get one familiar face in your film, and that was him, and he was really good.
Right. I think it definitely is a movie that kind of only works in of itself, and like if you really think about any of it too much, it kind of all falls apart. And I think maybe he was trying to bite off a little bit more than he could chew with a kind of like looping around, big reveal, grand horror adventure kind of. I don't know. Part of me definitely likes it a lot just because it's him and being independent YouTuber and
that
moving on to film is definitely the dream for a lot of people, and especially when it turns out kind of as good as it did. But and I definitely think that a lot of my enjoyment of it comes from just the fact that it hits on so many specific little, especially like you can tell he's really into paranormal, especially YouTube. There was a couple real paranormal YouTubers that popped up in the documentary scene, so you can tell he's kind of like drawing on all that real life stuff. So I
like that. I didn't know that
aspect. And overall, like from a technical standpoint, I thought it was like competent and well done for a first film. I didn't think there was anything that stood out as like really wow, aside from just all the cool elements to it. But overall, I think it was very solid, and for me personally, I'm gonna definitely try to watch it one more time. Maybe not in the theater, but just to kind of
I think this could be a movie for me that maybe if I go back and watch it again with all my expectations out of the way, I may enjoy it more, maybe even a lot more. Well, yeah, one thing I want to say, I thought the effects and the whole scene when Mia was looking for Riley, that whole scene in the house and her face off of the mom, and then going downstairs and then going upstairs, and then the whole thing that unfolded upstairs. I thought all the scenes where it would show somebody who was starting to act a little strange, and then their eyes would go glassy white, and then you'd see the shadow of the demon behind them, and you knew that they were being influenced. I thought that was for me the most effective, scary parts of the movie. But then on the flip side, when they showed the demon outright, I thought, oh, that
it wasn't scary.
it looked too much. I thought it was a cool design, but it just looked too. I don't know. It reminded me of, and I actually like these, but it reminded me of the show Evil, like some of the demon characters that they would use on that, often for kind of a humorous kind of thing. But that, and the only other thing that pulled me out of it was the scene at the end where Riley gets attacked by the devil dogs.
I thought that was ridiculous. That's why I said too much involvement with those devil dogs. Yeah. It would have been fine if she had fallen through the window and just broken her neck, and it was,
And the devil dogs were standing off along with the demon guy or something.
Yeah, because they were supposed to be like protectors
or
something. So I mean, if they were there to protect the baby, I could understand their involvement at the end, but not attacking. It was kind of too much, I feel like. But I loved the scenes from the abandoned town and the storyline and like the mystery as the sisters figuring it out, like where could she be, and when you finally do figure out where she is and that she is still alive, it's kind of crazy. I know these are all big spoilers, so sorry guys.
Well, I know too, he was brought up as a Jehovah's Witness, and he talks a lot about that and how he escaped from that basically cult, and you can definitely see that some of those influence in the movies. And I think he did a great job integrating those kind of themes into the film. So very promising. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the guy, and I wish I was a bigger fan in my initial reaction to this first film, but I'm sure he's going to have a lot of great stuff to come.
I definitely think it's worth watching, though. So anyone in the
Yes.
audience that's looking for, kind of anything that we
Yeah.
just described in this, if
Yeah.
you
definitely
haven't
wanna
seen it,
support him at least.
I would say to watch it.
Yeah, and I
definitely.
wouldn't say, like I said, I enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it, and it absolutely hit. It was in the absolute sweet spot of horror movie runtime at 1:39 for me. So that was great. Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I just felt, as I watched it, there were things that kind of like, as I've described, pulled me out of the experience a little bit. But it's not to say anybody else might not love it or enjoy it.
So, what do you think?
Without
like
reservation.
1.5 thumbs up?
Yeah,
then,
I would give it a
kinda?
1.5 thumbs up.
1 3/4 maybe for
Yeah.
me. I liked it a little bit more than that, but
What about you, Cam? Where do you fall? Are you just 2 thumbs up overall?
I'd say 2 thumbs up. Maybe not necessarily because it's Citizen Kane, but just from a enjoyment perspective, and it's a fun, spooky combination of found footage and regular horror. So it's definitely hits all the right notes. So I'd give it 2 thumbs up.
I think overall we had a pretty good spooky weekend. I have to admit, I think
Yes.
both movies were pretty good.
So that is a wrap on our 50th episode. Thank you so much for all of you who've been with us through any portion of this, and keep finding us out there on the various podcast platforms. We have a YouTube channel, we have a Facebook page, and we have a Twitter page. So find us there and give us a like or a comment. And thank you for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween. See you on the next one, guys.